evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect, and today we are going to be talking about the top 5 decks in this upcoming format that are not named Zoodiac. Now, when I say not named Zoodiac, I mean pure Zoodiac and Zoodiac variants alike. So your Firefish, Shadow, True King, Necros variant of Firefish with Ice Barriers on top that has Zoodiacs cannot be in this list. But with that being said, let's get to the top 5 decks that are not Zoodiac. Number 5 on this list is Mermails. Now, Mermail is a deck that tends to make every single list. Why? Is because they water, man. And everybody likes water, bro. But the most important thing about Mermails is that it did lose a bit of power with Norden being banned, but in return, you can actually play other cards that make the deck a lot better. Now, I'm not going to start saying Sacred Swords, Kaiju, Trade-In, 60 card, no lawn mowing, 2 Strokeness is going to be in there, but I'm going to put a little bit of sauce. The most important thing about Mermails is that it still can consistently OTK you, especially if it goes second. I don't know how it still OTKs you going first, but it does that sometimes too. Sometimes you just look at the board and you be like, nothing else I can do. This deck is a very good contender, mainly because of its splash ability, its flexibility, and if you buy high rarity YOLO swag Mermail, you're probably not doing anything wrong because the price definitely doesn't drop. Number 4 on this list is Soldier Boy. Watch me. You. No, I'm pretty sure I did that all wrong. But number 4 on this list is True Draco. And True Draco is probably one of the best decks of all time, in my opinion. Not because they're good, not because of anything. It's because if you guys haven't noticed, all of the Draco monsters are based off of other monsters that we play. Like, for example, Dynamite is based off of the Dino-Miss. Ignis is based off of the Metal Foes. Even though it probably should be based off the Ignites. It could be based off the Ignites. But you guys are starting to get what I'm saying about True Draco. This deck is a tribute summon deck, one of the better tribute summon decks that we haven't had since Monarchs, that allows your best boss monster to be unaffected by the cards that you tribute. But the most important thing about this True Draco deck is that you can tribute spells and traps to tribute summon these monsters. And when I mean any type of spell traps, I mean anything that has a little continuation sign on it that says continuous on it. So anytime you can tribute cards like Fire Formation, Tenki, Zoodiac Barrage, but we're not talking about that, but you could be playing those. But more importantly, their spells and trap cards allow you for interaction on your opponent's turn, with all of the trap cards as of current allowing you to tribute summon, and also when it's sent to the graveyard to destroy a monster on your opponent's side of the field, and the spell cards being able to destroy spell and trap cards on your side of the field, as well as all of them having unique effects to either help you draw cards or assemble cards to your side of the field in some way, shape, or form. This is a deck I would not discount for a number 1 seat. And on top of that, any deck that can make card of demise good without playing 8 million traps, True Draco, you! Okay, top 5 Soldier Boy songs. Okay, you got, the Superman, you got Spider-Man, he made that song on My Sidekick. He made up Hop Up Out the Bed, Turn My Swag On. He made that one. And then I'm pretty sure he had another superhero. Those are the top 5 decks, or top 5 for True Draco. Just in case you guys didn't know, that deck is, Soldier Boy calls himself Draco, and I'll stop talking. Number 3 on this list is Invoked, and all Invoked variants alike. Now, the reason why Invoked is such a good deck, because you have easy access to some awesome fusion cards, whether it's Purgatrio, Raging, or Macabre. All 3 of those monsters are probably some of the top fusion monsters available in the game right now. But the most important part is that it is so versatile. This deck can be played, or this strategy can be played in anything. The most popular being Invoked Wind Witch Artifact. But you also can play Invoked Ice Barriers. You can play Invoked Wind Witch Zoodiac Ice Barrier Metal Foes. You can play Invoked Metal Foe Infernoid Wind Witch Ice Barrier Shadow Subterror deck. You can play so much inside of this. Will it be good? Probably not. But still, the fact that you can play this kind of makes you wish that you could play more than 60 cards. The next best thing about this fusion mechanic is that the engine is so small and that it can't be splashed and some of everything. And also the monsters are really strong, but like I said, it does have its niches. Being able to banish your opponent's graveyarded monsters for the effects of your fusion summons is really good. But the fact that if I'm not playing Earth monsters and I just happen to see a Zoodiac Rat Pier, you know what's going to happen. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You guys playing one of the decks yet? Number 2 on this list doesn't need the grass to be greener for it to make it over on this side, also known as this list. I am talking about Infernoids. Now, Infernoid is the goo. And what I mean by the goo, it's spelled G-O-U-U-O-U-O-U-U. The goo. This deck is really good in 40 and 60 card variants. You guys should see her right now. She's looking at me like, that's not how you spell it. But she doesn't know that this deck is that good enough to spell it any way you want to. Not only can this deck summon huge monsters, and when I mean huge monsters at your leisure, I mean it's almost nothing to summon them. It didn't really lose much from losing 2 copies of that grass. There are multiple ways to steal mill cards from your 60 or 40 card variant of this from your deck to the graveyard. And the new Lightsworn support only helps the strategy of this deck. But the most important thing, like Invoked except a little bit better, all of these monsters, well except for Decatron, the Anuku, and the Deviati, manipulate your opponent's graveyard, being able to banish cards from their graveyard to prevent them from using some pesky card effects, such as that Zoodiac Grab here. I mean, let's face it, that's probably one of the more broken cards right now. This deck is really good at just summoning a plethora of monsters, and as long as Void Feast, Void Imagination, and Void Dream are still available in 3, I really don't see this deck going anywhere. Quick question. I gotta hit the blunt for this. If Invoked goes in any deck, if Mermail were just missing a couple of cards, if True Draco is such a small engine, why don't we play all of them? Then mix it with a little bit of Infernoid, get the cooking, bro. Get the cooking. The cooking. The cook. Number 1 on this list was actually benefited by the list. And what I mean is beneficial that the cards happen on the list. We are not talking about Pendulum Magician. And the reason why we ain't talking about Pendulum Magician, they just ain't out yet. Or it probably would be number 1 on this list. This deck was constantly ignored after its inception, and it fell flat on its face to Zoo. This deck is the hot fire. This deck is the Rex Raptor, the Weevil Underwood of underdogs. This deck can get it, bro. This deck is true King Dino. Why? Because you got kings and you got dinos, and you got dinosaur kings, but you ain't got Rex Raptor. You got a queen, because that's what the ultimate term is. I looked it up. Its gender is actually female. So don't assume it's gender for that 3500 beater. This deck is really good at summoning huge monsters. And when I mean huge monsters, they ain't even from the extra deck. They from the field. Lethosagum, the ultimate conductor thing, the super 4,000, 8,000, whatever he wants to be by every banished dino to your side of the field to decimate the opponent. Most importantly, you got a monster that's a hand trap and a graveyard effect. You got a monster that searches dinosaurs, and you got babies that activate when they're destroyed. This deck is really good. It allows you to manipulate your opponent's extra deck, which, if you activate Lethosagum, you're probably going to win by banishing their extra deck. It allows you to make ridiculous cards in your extra deck. Logia, Dolka, Bahamut Shark, totally awesome. Hell, you can even make Gaga Cowboy. I don't give a shit, just play it. You can make cards like VFD and Danglong, Notoria Beast. Why are you not playing this deck if you're not playing Zoo? Legitimately, it's like Blastoise on steroids. Look, I don't know what else to tell you. Buy the deck, play the deck. I don't care if you go rob a... Never mind, don't do that. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. I want to hear your top 5 decks down below in the description and why you think those decks are awesome. Please share this with a friend. We want everyone to know the best decks and we want to know the best decks for the players that don't want to play Zoodiac. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, y'all stay classy.